Welcome everybody for our today's webinar, AI for C-level, how to drive revenue with AI. Cases from T-Mobile, Sonos and many more. So this webinar is really on the actual topic, how can we use AI to drive growth? And we will dive into that in a bit, and it's really for higher level audience because we not go into the methodology, but really why we need it and how can we make it useful and create impact. So before we dive into that, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Frank Buckler. I'm founder of Supra Tools, and Supra is positions itself as world's first causal insights agencies. We have AI tools delivering results in days, not months, but we are in a consultancy and delivering advice, and you will see in this webinar why this is so useful. So let's go into it. Actually, we will talk about 3 waves of AI. And the first wave we are in right now is wave 1. And it is the wave 1 because all those AI usages you pretty much know about are designed to be faster, save costs, be more efficient. Yeah? If you write a copy with AI, it's typically you save time to write a proper copy. If you create pictures, it's very fast that you create high quality pictures, and so forth. If you are discussing or doing deep research, even, you shrink the time instead of asking a consultancy to do the research. It does it in minutes for you. So it's super valuable, but it's not in its first attempt creating value in the sense that you will gain higher revenue. It is basically saving you cost, time, and efficiency. Let's look a little bit deeper what AI is, because AI is not AI. There are different types of AI, and it's very important to differentiate between them. When we talk about AI today, typically we mean large language models or transformer models which produce pictures and these kinds of things. You see here, it's kind of a parrot. It's a parrot on steroids, but still it is something which simply learned what's out there and combines it in a way to produce an output which sounds meaningful or looks meaningful. And this is used to produce content, right? Text, pictures, answers to questions. The other application is predictive AI. Predictive AI is using very specialized data sets. For instance, eye tracking data sets on pictures, or eye tracking data sets on movies. And with this data sets, you can now, and predictive AI learns the relationship between those picture information and the outcome where people look at. Yeah, and so that you don't need to do this research anymore. You simply upload a picture and you know where people will look at this picture. So it can simulate testing experiments. So you get, again, faster, cheaper, lower costs. Yeah. And that's super powerful for very specialized situations and data sets. And both are basically pre-trained models, right? So lots of data flow into it and can be applied for this specific situations. And then there's Causal AI. While generative AI and predictive AI are basically black boxes, nobody actually knows what's going on. You know what's going on from a data perspective, but you don't know what it means. Yeah, each neuron, each node in this neural networks don't have a meaning per se. That's why it's a black box. With Causal AI, that is different. It is designed to understand the link between input and output, but not just data-wise, but really what does it means in the real world. How will an action, which is associated with input, drive an output and a real outcome? And that's Causal AI, and we go into that in a bit, because all of those three components are complementing each other and are useful and necessary to drive growth later on. So how do we create growth? So if we take generative AI and predictive AI, what we can do today is basically make what we do already, make it at lower costs or faster, which means business-wise we can offer the same thing for a fraction of the cost of the price. It's like Henry Ford offered cars for 1/3 of a price, and with that enables or activated latent demand for a product. If you can minimize cost at your industry, at your domain so much, you can create demand and create growth. And by doing that, you can substitute other categories. So there's no longer a demand for horse cars, right? But in most cases, we are not there yet. In most industries, we are not there yet. So how can we now really create growth with AI? And the answer is this: we need to do better marketing. And here are 7 components of marketing and 7 areas where we can create growth. First, we can create brand strategies, positionings, segmentations, market strategies that better resonate with category buyers. If we really understand why people buy and how they functioning, if we know the cause-effect relationship between how you interact with customers and what makes them tick and what they buy, then you create growth. Second, if you understand how to improve the product market fit, if you understand why people don't buy or buy certain products better, if you really understand that, then you unlock demand, create growth. If you understand how to communicate better, then your budgets will be better spent. It will create growth, will create people buying your products. Same with distribution. If you understand what makes your physical availability really actionable, how can you make that people go into your store, for instance? Then you drive sales, you create growth. Same thing with sales conversion. If you understand how to convert the clients on the point of sale, if you understand why this happens and where the key points are, you create growth. Customer experience. If you understand what are the key points that holding you back on customer loyalty, then you keep your customers loyal, you lose less, you grow. And lastly, if you understand where to allocate your budgets better, then you spend budgets in more impactful channels, and with the same budget you can create growth. And in 2 minutes, I will give you for each of those domains a quick example how AI can help you create growth in there. But before that, I want to go into the technology. Which technology enables us to understand how we can become better? And the answer is simple. Yeah? We need to understand what drives success, which actions are more impactful to creating outcomes. Yeah? That's this wave 2, is creating better output. And we do that if we understand the cause-effect relationships in marketing. Yeah, it's a causal question. And we all know that's not easy, right? To find out the causal drivers of success. So, I mean, we are, since decades, we trying to get better here because we are advocating data-driven marketing, right? And we're building dashboards. And for instance, here, our dashboard has all of the different KPIs we can now track now. What's that KPI trending to 0? It measures how well we understand them all. Yeah, we know that we have dashboard overload. We have more data than ever, but can we make use of it? Can we ask AI now to what all this means and what we should do? And that's $100 million question. And the answer is not easy, yeah? Because when we today look at data, yeah, say it correlates with lots of stuff. For instance, it shaves shaved heads. We found this correlation in the data. Everyone take a razor. That's what we call spurious correlation. So it is not enough to just look at data, look at correlations, look at what predicts outcomes. You need to dig deeper. And that's what Causal AI is trying. Yeah, we know all that. I'm leaving out those examples, but to give you just one example or two, that spurious correlations are all around us. In lottery industry, for instance, you see that all the people play lottery. Yeah, that's a fact. So you can, that's a correlation, right? And you could assume, hey, because of that, the older people are our key audience. But if you take a holistic data set, yeah, that's what Causal AI is doing, you learn the age has a negative impact. If everything else is the same, the older people, the less likely are they to start playing lottery. Why is that? It is because with age grows the true drivers of playing lottery, which is ritualization and experience of winning. So this grows over time. And because of that, older people play more lottery, but not because they are old, because they ritualize and have experience of winning. We see all of those spurious correlations in any industry. For instance, for non-profit organizations, we realize that yes, older people donate, but it's not because they're old. It's because they have saved money. Yeah, the ability and the likelihood to donate depends on how much money you have saved. And people who are young and have saved money have the same likelihood to donate. And there is where your speed spot is, and where the other NPOs are not targeting to. So you now get a feeling that understanding the root cause of success is a true competitive advantage. So I will go into that, how it really works, but basically Causal AI takes artificial intelligence neural networks, but in a very special way. it uses it to actually looks at the prerequisites of causality and do an exclusion game. Say, this can't be a solution because, this can't be a solution because, this can't be a solution because, and this can't be a solution because it's a wrong causal direction. And so forth. So, and that's basically how it works. And I wrote a whole book where you can really read how the actual algorithms in a very understandable way. It's called Think Causal, Not Casual. But now let's go into the applications. So Causal AI is actually, it's AI with a filtering system. It's actually filters out the cause-effect relationships. And that's so important because every action in marketing is a stone that may or may not cause a result. Unfortunately, the stones stand in pure darkness, because causality cannot be measured and can only be inferred. And that's why we need this light, which is called Causal AI. So let's go into 7 quick examples where Causal AI really were a key to drive growth. First example for brand strategy, which is for T-Mobile USA, which introduced a new strategy. It revamped the product offering, new devices, no contract terms, flat rate, which was new. And it was working, but there was internal debate. Why it's actually working? Is it the contract term? Is it the flat fee? What is it? And it was so important because to drive the momentum and to be not copyable, you really need to understand why you're growing. And Causal AI took now the brand tracking data, which included 200 variables, and condensed it to a very simple but impactful finding. The finding was that none of those factors people were thinking were driving brand consideration were the direct impact, but all those factors drove the Robinhood positioning. They were the reason why people believed this positioning. So, and this positioning was the core driver of the growth. So it was now the validation that the company needed just to add a few more features that were reasoning their positioning as the Robinhood of the industry. That was so amazing because this wasn't copyable. You can copy the price strategy, but you cannot copy the positioning, because they were the first one and drove massive growth, grew 4x with super high profitability. Next, product innovation. So we tested the Apple Vision Pro 1 year before launch. And what you see here is a Supra tool where you see all those features and the adoption barriers. You see on the X level the lever of improving adoption, which is the outcome of Causal AI. And you see on the Y-X the performance. How are the features perceived, right? Is it well perceived? Do people believe it has it? It works or not? It's measured with neuroscience, so we untap the intuitive reaction of people. But now the interesting part here now is that there are 2 things that have a super high lever, but are not well perceived. So people don't believe it, especially the intuitive control by eyes, gestures, and voice was something which from marketing alone, people couldn't grasp. They were understanding it, but not really believing that it will work. That was a key barrier to success.
And that's what Apple actually worked a lot on when launching, doing a lot of video explanation on those features, and this made the launch successful. Communication. Here's an interesting and powerful example how now a company combined causal AI with generative AI with with predictive AI. So what we did was measuring with causal AI, understanding which brand archetypes are actually driving people to like an advertising. Yeah, and we found a certain profile which were predicting and causing people to like a smartphone ad. That's so powerful because now we knew how to prompt a picture generating AI, because you can have lots of ideas. There are millions of ways of prompting it. Make a great ad and make it whatever. But if you know the brand archetype which really resonates, the solution space narrows down very much. And the same was true for the copywriting. So now we generated pictures, and we tested it with predictive AI. So that knew that the logo was recognized in the ad. And this, we tested that in real context in social advertising. And the uplift was enormous. 18% market share, also compared to the control ads, so to real actual ads. So this technology enables you to have from hundreds of possible good ads, which all looks nice, condense it to a handful, test it, and then have much faster, very impactful results. That's a combination, of those technologies. Distribution. Brand 𝗿𝗏𝗃 has lots of stores, right? For chocolate brand, they wanted to, control and manage better the stores to drive sales, and it was not so obvious that what's actually driving sales. Should we drive conversion, upsell, traffic, and how does it all depend from each other? Because you see that, of course, there are differences in the region where the store is. And the outcome was pretty compelling in the sense that it really let you focus on the right things. So the key driver of sales is the traffic. And the traffic depends very much, of course, on where the store is. Typically, whether or not it's in a touristic region or not, and the buying power of the location. That's interesting. So you can choose you can choose your stores, but also you can tweak the traffic as well through other methods, like certain tools to have higher footfall traffic, right? And also the interesting finding was that conversion upsell, while this is important, it's really not the main driver. So you can really focus on methods that drive the footfall traffic. And that's what they did. And this focus really leads to increase in sales for lots of stores. Again, why? Really understanding how things relate to each other, how the cause-effect relationships are, leads you to clarity, and that drives growth. Conversion, upsell. So we helped a nonprofit organization to improve the mailings. Again, you can have multiple variations of mailings and test that in in a market research, but not that you basically say, hey, would you donate from that, but you really use neuro market research to understand what people feel about that. And with Causal AI, you find the link between how it's perceived and what really of those perception and of the things the ladder and the envelope is made of. You can look, okay, what's the driver of conversion? Yeah, and if you have typically a conversion of, say, 5% of mailings through your donators, and you increase it to 7%, it's a conversion and a donation uplift of 40%. Right? So there's a huge driver in working on those things, really understanding from a cause-effect relationship what makes a mailing work. Next, customer experience. So we worked with Sonos, and lots of brands, most brands actually do kind of voice of the customer NPS surveys. Basically asking, would you recommend us 1 to 10 and why? Open-ended text. And this analysis categorizes what people say, text analytics, but not stopping there, because if you simply count what people say, you get totally fooled. You see, for instance, here the bubble with the topic with the highest frequency is great sound. Yeah, most people, if you interview Sonos buyers, why you're recommending? It's a great sound. Yeah, that's the reason. While this is not wrong, the customer don't tell you what's most important because they even don't know themselves. Yeah, it's an intuitive thing what people really do, and people have limited awareness of why they do things. And here's where Causal AI kicks in. Yeah, what we found is people who are stating it has a reliable performance, so the streaming really works well. If I push the button, the music comes. Not so many people say that, but those who say that are really recommending much more. So the brand switched from investment from sound into software. And 6 months later, the NPS drove by 10 points. This was spot on and as predicted, and you can imagine how impressed the C-suite was at that time. The unfortunate part is actually that lots of the team were later basically fired. And last year, the Sonos launched a new app, which was a disaster. Reliability of performance was absolutely disaster, and they're still working on recovering it. And sales dropped, loyalty dropped into the basement. CEO was fired. Why? Because there was nobody there anymore who really knew this study outcome. Understanding what drives customers' experience is key, and if you neglect that, it's a true risk. Last is budget allocation. So you can use Causal AI to do better marketing mix modeling or even touchpoint modeling. This is an example of touchpoint modeling where you measure whether or not people had a touch point. It's again with neural market research. Implicitly, we can understand if someone really had a touch point, even without them knowing it. And what you see here as an example is that the touch point with a delivery car on the street has a positive impact. That's the x-axis. But the touch point with delivering scooter on the street or the delivery stuff has a negative impact, which is a very powerful finding. And actually it served to be true in qualitative research. People feel sorry about those staff, yeah, that they need to do this hard work, even being out there in the rain. This hurts the brand. And if you realize that those scooter drivers, they're actually costing money. Yeah, it costs more to send out a scooter driver than it actually the revenue brings in. It's really a brand building effort. Yeah? And if this brand building effort doesn't build brand, you have a problem. So again, it's an outcome of causal AI to really understand what drives success. So, long story short, the winning formula to drive growth is to do better marketing. How do we do better marketing? Better understand what drives outcomes, so better insights. And for those better insights, we need causal AI. Why? Each decision relies on an assumption, on an action driving, causing an outcome. So that's the methodology we need. So this is wave 2, right? This is how we drive better quality, better output. And now we need to use it and transform it in an organization that is able to leverage this technology. How do we do it? So, you know, AI is replacing white-collar working and knowledge work. Yeah, so in industry revolution, engines replaced manual work. Industrial automation replaced even more work. Digitalization replaced service work. And AI now will replace knowledge work. So is there no work anymore for humans? Let's have a look. At least what we see, for instance, in the software development space, that this development is real. So nobody can argue that it's not coming. It is coming. Knowledge work will be replaced. The big question is, how much will it be replaced? And here comes in a very interesting insight, the paradoxon of expertise, which was coined by 𝗂𝗟𝗏. And he found that actually everyone benefits from AI, right? You can ask a question and it tells you something and you learn something from it. But those who can ask better questions and those who can reflect the answers critically and then pose another question to really squeeze AI, those get much better outcomes. So now, not everyone wins in the same way. The smart people wins much more outcomes. They win much more insights from AI than the average. What does it mean? It means, we have a larger soup now. AI gives us so much knowledge and so forth. But if you have a small spoon, if your input, your system is standard, your way of questioning is a standard way of doing it, you get mediocre outcomes compared to what others do. To get more of it, you need a larger spoon, which means you need even more expertise. Yeah? You need people which have category knowledge, data science know-how, marketing science know-how, which combine that in this broader knowledge combined with critical thinking and problem-solving capabilities, which are not easy to teach. Yeah, you learn it in life. But this enables you to squeeze AI and to get much better outcomes. And this is critical to achieve a competitive advantage because everyone can access AI now, right? Here's an example how this looks, for instance, for the process of content creation. So there is a briefing. Let's say, Samsung wants to create an advertising which create buyers and growth. And it goes into an AI agent system, a deep research system. And this system is also trained with best practice curated marketing science vault and best practice new research and survey templates. Why is it? Because, of course, AI is trained on everything, right? And out there is good and not so good knowledge. As expert, we know which knowledge works better. So we need to tell the AI the best practices. So in this way, it builds on better knowledge. That's very important. And by doing that, now with this briefing, AI can translate it and create a questionnaire, which then can go out into to an external panel, interview customers to understand how they, what drives them to like a brand. And in some instances, you don't need anymore to interview real customers, but if you have built upfront the AI customer twins, you ask these customer twins and have answers in an hour later. But this is the first step. It just collects data. And this data goes now into Causal AI. And Causal AI now finds which of those perceptions really drives outcomes, drives purchase intention. With this outcome, we can now prompt generative AI better, creating better pictures, better slogans, better music, which really resonates what people makes them buy. And this outcomes are, of course, not always perfect. You know that. And predictive AI can now, because it's trained on real data, find out if it complies to certain mechanisms, if the brand is well perceived, and so forth. The whole creative is not cluttering, and so forth. And with this outcome, a better result is produced, and can finally also test it in real at real customers. The finalists can be tested, even can be tested on AI twins if you have some. And with this final testing, this advertising will work. So you can spit out this advertising and a report, and the team can now go and field it and produce a campaign of it. So the key here on this system is the orange parts. Without Causal AI, you don't understand why customers buy. And the human expert supervision makes sure that the AI agent works well, because with Causal AI, with predictive AI, or even with generative AI, we can evaluate whether or not it's working. We know the predictive power, we know the specific KPIs, and even with generative AI, we know whether or not something looks odd or not. You can really see if it's good. With an agent, it all reads reasonable, but is it really true? And that's why you need a high-level expert which really can question that and can challenge it. And that's the differentiator which sits on top of everything. So long story short, what we need is orchestrating AI, but we still need this AI lion tamer, right? To maintain a competitive advantage. So that's a paradox in itself, but yeah, the trend towards do it DIY, I think, will be broken, because DIY delivers mediocre outcomes. Really, the orchestration of a lion tamer of super valuable expert knowledge makes a solution so powerful. So your next steps, how to drive revenue with AI. Let me quickly summarize. AI today is not driving growth because it focuses on cost saving and time saving, which is important too, right? But in 99% of the cases, it does not create value in a sense that it creates growth. Instead, what we need to do in wave 2 is to create growth, and this is through better marketing. Better marketing can only be achieved if we create better insights. Better insights are characterized by being the insight of the cause-effect relationship. What should we do to change outcomes? So, and finally, how do we leverage that? We leverage that by orchestrating all those AIs, but not using standard systems, but really having a highly competent lion tamer team, which challenges the AI to make sure it's on top of the game and remains your competitive edge. So let me summarize and what could be the next steps for you to actually make it happen. So this was all theory, but now how can you drive growth within the next month? There are 3 steps which I can recommend to you. The first step is you can access our quiz at 𝗂𝗏𝗃𝗲/quiz. And in this quiz, in 2 minutes, it asks some questions and tells you, depending on your specific situations, on which topic some of the super tools could help you to drive growth. So typically, those insights are generated within weeks or even faster, and could be then piloted, and you could see already impact within a few months. And of course, if you want to discuss all that, I'm offering here for you a free strategy call. Yeah, just access my calendar. So tinyurl.com/frankbuckler. And here you can book your 30-minute strategy call. I'm happy to get to know you and to discuss your specific situation. And of course, we do growth workshops for enterprises. Just reach out over the email, buckler@𝗂𝗏𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗏. I hope this was useful. I'm curious to see your questions, to interact with you. And I wish you lots of growth in the future. See you then. Bye.